Oh, I can't do the video with the music? That sucks. Oh, really? Maybe I can fix it. Well, this is the beginning, the very beginning of what I consider to be a long series of podcasting and recordings of me and what goes on around me throughout the day. I just whatever's on my mind, I guess I want to spill out here. So I want people to understand. People are going to ask me, why I want to be a congressman, why I want to represent the 1st District. And the answer is I don't want to really. I'm willing to. I think we need good representation, and there's a lot of schmucks out there that there's really nobody out there getting the job done. And I feel like I'm one of the people that can get through in Washington and make a difference in what is, I believe, to be one of the most important periods in the history of mankind, as the free world is reeling. Free world, which didn't exist until 1770s, is now, until the election, in the years leading up to the election of Donald Trump, was absolutely gone. The free world was gone. We had a Biden regime of thugs and Marxists, and left-wingers, and Trump is bringing it back. And this is a very important time in history. People need to step up, as I've said in the podcast, but I said again before, but that's not the purpose of what I'm doing here. I want to entertain, I think. I just want people to understand, go through life on a day basis and get a real in-depth look at what's going on and what's the kind of things that make me tick and the kind of things that make the state of Connecticut tick around me too. Recently I've been watching a lot of feeds on Facebook, a lot of First Amendment auditors going into state office buildings and police departments and even in public places to take video, and they're being stopped by the police and charged with things like disorderly conduct for not something that's not disorderly at all. It may be a little uncomfortable for people out there, but understand, I respect people's right to privacy. We all should, but there is no expected right to privacy out in public, you see. And one of the things I do as an investigator is insurance fraud investigations. I used to do more of them. I don't do so much of that anymore, but I used to do a lot of that, and I still occasionally do. And matter of fact, we're probably going to do more of that in the future as we expand my company. But bottom line is, there's no expected right to privacy in any federal land, state land, or public property. Private property, yeah, there is expected that. That is expected. There are different rules for those two things. So if you're out walking down the street, videotaping the buildings around you, and that's free and okay, but the police will, in most cases, someone will feel uncomfortable with it and call the police. The police will, in most cases, will show up and try to stop you from doing what is your right to do as a journalist. If you want to be, I'm a journalist. I feel like I'm a journalist. You're a journalist. We're all journalists. Anyone who's posting things online, you're actually technically a journalist. You're spreading news. And that's what we're going to do here with Connecticut Common Sense more and more. And that's what I'm going to do here on social media more and more. Everyday stuff, but it all relates back to what I don't consider to be politics anymore. I don't look at it like I'm getting into politics. I'm getting into this cesspool to try to, make sure the United States stays a free nation. And that is in peril. Just 2 years ago, hell, just 1 year ago, there was really no more free world. Europe's lost it. We had Europe as a part of the free world for a while there in the 90s and 80s and whatnot, 70s, 80s, 90s. Now Europe's lost. You can't speak out your mind in Europe. There's no First Amendment in Europe anymore right now. Where is the First Amendment alive and well? Right here and only here. And it was in trouble here just 1 year ago when Biden was in office. If y'all don't know what projection is, if you've taken any courses in psychology, or most of us know what projection is, that's when you project your own problems onto somebody else and accuse them of doing what you're doing. And that's what far left-wingers do. That's one of their tactics. It's not politics anymore. But anyway, I think it's just, we're going to start a new YouTube network feed here. There's some technology growing that needs to be done. In other words, once I get past Hartford, this morning I'm on a early morning. I want to do these live. Right now this is recorded, of course. But it is the day before Halloween, October 30th, 2025, and we're going to start chronicling and becoming a journalist. And I bring up these First Amendment audit things because we're going to do some of that here too. And only as it comes with a job. So I'm actually going to maybe turn my detective agency into a sort of online reality show in a way. Real reality of what's really going on. Not just in politics, but in general. Like what's going on with the Red Sox, man. I'm a Red Sox fan, yeah. My dream is someday to be able to do two of the things I wanted to do when I was a kid. One was be a private investigator. Thank goodness for doing that. One of the things I wanted to do when I was a kid. That's cool. The other one, though, was be the Red Sox play-by-play announcer. Missed the boat on that one. That would be cool, though. But I'm not going to, I've decided that I can let that one go. However, I do like the Red Sox, and it would be cool someday, just someday. I do have my own, even though, so I don't want to really run for Congress, except I feel like I should, and I must. I feel like it's the thing to do to help do my part in the fight for freedom. And that's what it is. It's not politics. It's a fight for freedom. Because our freedom in Connecticut has been usurped. Those of you who have followed our movement for the year and want to bring more people aboard, do so. Those of you who followed our movement for the year know about John Flynn and the different crap that the Connecticut state government pulls, which is right out of the Soviet playbook. How abysmal our representation in Washington is. The miserable seven. You got the dirty dozen back in Chicago. Here you got the miserable seven. With DeLauro, Hines, whatever. Larson, Courtney, who lies in the weeds. Little snake that lies in the weeds. Larson is like a barracuda, comes out and becomes unhinged on TV all the time. It's pathetic. DeLauro, of course, Murphy and Blumenthal, our two senators. It puts a little, you know, you ever had that when you're like, you get the hiccups or something, and it feels like you barfed in your mouth a little bit, and you don't really barf, but you feel that little weird feeling in your mouth there? It's nasty. That happens, you know, once in a while. That's how I feel when I think of Blumenthal and Murphy, two communists, Marxist suckers, lying through their teeth and fighting the only man in the MAGA movement, which is essentially make America. What's so bad about making America great again? Why is that such a taboo thing? The people that hate Donald Trump are either deranged and unhinged because they're being told a bunch of lies and they're believing them, and they're just not that smart, or they realize that Trump is ruining their little Marxist plans and they hate him for that. And it's a velvet war going on against them. It's been going on for all this time, and I want to help stop it. You know, I feel like I can really help with that. My communication skills are good, and I feel like I can really help with that. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes. You know, I know people, I have people close to me that know what's going on but don't want to get involved. They hate politics. They call it politics. It's politics, essentially, whatever. Politics. They hate the whole scene, you know. It is a dangerous game these days. And it's a hard game. It's a hard road to fight a velvet war, or a war itself is really hard. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this, because I want to avoid another civil war. We have to stop this far left-wing movement in America quick. And I mean quick, or it's going to grow and foment with young people. The fact that I said this in the podcast yesterday, the fact that 30% of Democrats, I'm sorry, I'm wrong, 30% of the population as a whole thinks the Democrats have gone too far left. I'm sorry, I said that wrong again. 70% think the Democrats have gone too far left. That's a large number that believe that they've gone too far. A lot of them are Democrats, and that's the key to Republicans winning in Connecticut, by the way. Democrat voters, registered Democrat, confused, disoriented, reasonably sane Democrat voters in Connecticut. There's got to be hundreds of thousands of them. Or independent registers that have always voted Democrat. People think that Connecticut's full of Democrats and only a few Republicans, and it is true. Democrats registries doesn't outnumber Republicans by a ratio of nearly 2-to-1, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely over 60%. However, what people don't realize is the biggest majority of registered voters in Connecticut are independent or otherwise affiliated. It's like 1.1 million versus only 700,000 Democrats. You're going to get a lot of inside information from me here on this, and it's not just about the fight for freedom. I know a lot of people that hate it, like they want to save the country just like I do, but they know what I know, but they don't want to get involved. They hate politics. They call it politics. They don't want to be into it. They want to shelter themselves from it. I understand that, but you can't do that forever. Honestly, I want to tell them. I haven't really told them yet, but I want to tell them that, look, you got to be. If you have children, you're a head of a household. You're a father. You have a family to protect. You got to be a man and step up and get in the fight. And that doesn't mean you got to come out and be part of this movement directly. It means you got to talk to the people around you. Do whatever you think you can do that's correct to contribute. Be a man enough to do that. And I feel like that has to happen for really everyone who loves America, loves freedom. The problem is many of us, most of us, almost all of us, grew up in a free country like this, grew up right here in Connecticut, grew up in America, and doesn't know what it's like to be in a nation where there is no freedom. So it's hard to put a perspective on it for a lot of people. Understand. That's why we are working to have some interesting guests on the podcast, Selena and I, on Connecticut Common Sense, to some people that actually have lived in Eastern Europe and places that live under Marxism and whatnot, what that's actually like. And it's a nightmare. But anyway, we're going to do a lot more online, a lot more. We're going to be everywhere. I'm going to be long podcasts. This one's not going to be so long. I might chime in later. But today I'm on my way to do some subpoena services in towns like Southbury. Oh, this guy's going so slow. Towns like Southbury. Jeez, man, wake up. All the coffee, buddy. Southbury, Cheshire, Southington, Meriden. And then I have an eye doctor's appointment after that. I think it might be a little bit of a cataract developing in my right eye. I'm not really sure. I can see fine, don't worry, but I can just see where my right eye needs a little looking at. So we're going to go to the eye doctor. I recently sucked it up and bought health insurance for reasons I will talk about. I'm going to talk about the healthcare system a lot. It is messed up. I've been out of it for so long. Eastern medicine is the way. I mean, look, you got to look at the root cause. Don't let Western medicine lure you into a lot of money just to mask symptoms. Over-the-counter drugs just mask symptoms. Western medicine as a philosophy as a whole is not about nothing but drugs and surgery, which are both bad for you. They're bad things. They maybe have hopefully a good outcome, but it's usually hopefully, not always. They're not good gambles unless they should be last resorts, not the first thing you go to. Hippocrates himself, the guy they quote all the time, the Hippocratic Oath is named after, said, "Let food be thy medicine, let food be thy medicine, and let medicine be thy food." That's where it starts. And that's how I've been living my life. I don't mind getting into my health conditions. I got diabetes, but I'm in pretty good shape for a 55-year-old man. Now, one of the things my podcast has to do is get better technology so I can have music in the background. First of all, I can't play my music while I'm doing this, which I like playing my music on here. I like listening to Fox here, but I like my music. I love music, like incredibly so much. That's the one thing that drives people. My girl, Melissa, drives her crazy. Music. I play too much music. I play the ukulele, and everybody knows that. But I can't do it while I'm doing this. That kind of stinks. And the other thing is, even though I know Connecticut so well, I can get to any town, any neighborhood really, without a GPS. That's how I'm in any neighborhood. Salisbury to Thompson to Greenwich to Stonington, just about any place. Sterling. I can go to almost any neighborhood without a GPS. But to get to the actual address that I'm going to, I do need my GPS, and I haven't figured out I have to figure out a way to be able to have my navigation system up at the same time while I'm podcasting, which I haven't done yet. I am not the most technologically savvy person in the world. I have a good high IQ for it, so I can adapt very well to different things, but I don't feel like I want to use my brain time and energy to do a lot of computer geek stuff, technology stuff. That's why I usually rely on those close to me or look for help in those areas. Like, for instance, this amazing new podcast network I'm about to start needs like the technological help to get it off the ground. I could do it, but it would take me a month to figure it out, whereas someone I trust who knows what they're doing could do it in a week, type of thing. So it's about efficiency. So once I get through, and I'm coming into Hartford now, on my way to, my first stop is in Plainville, actually. It's a residence. These are all residences this morning. I do process service for company called NAPS, like a national company that brokers, process servicing companies and law firms and the other investigation companies around the nation to help affect service from state to state. So my role is to serve subpoenas in Connecticut for people from out of state, different entities from out of state that want to get something served here in the state of Connecticut. Occasionally I do it for people that are already in Connecticut, for my clients that are already here in Connecticut, but this is mostly for other states. So mostly Florida, New York, California, of course, that would be the most. But I've done it, I believe, in 38 for 38 different states, also for places in Canada and England, interesting, and Jamaica, interesting enough. Served international as well here in Connecticut, both businesses and residences. I think I'm probably up to almost 4,000 different jobs at this point, taking me to probably 4,500 different houses and or businesses. So I know the state fairly well. I know the first district even better because I grew up on the weekends on a tree farm up in Heartland. I mean, I know everything about this state. There's nobody that knows this state better than me. There may be a dozen people or 18 people that know it as well as I do. I'm not going to deny that, but there's nobody, absolutely nobody knows it better than me. So, and there's nobody who wants to help it better than me. I've come full circle with the state of Connecticut. I've lived here my whole life. I grew up as a little kid, really a decent childhood here, and then a lot of rough times here too. And for a while, as a teenager and youngster, I hated Connecticut. All my friends didn't like Connecticut. For whatever reasons, we were born here, we said. It was silly. It was just being young. But over time, it's come full circle. I've begun to understand more and more. My wisdom from my age really has come in, I guess. And it turns out that the people in Connecticut are the great. We used to say people in Connecticut were snobby and hard to get along with. And then we'd go to I'd travel. I've been in all 50 states, by the way. All 50 states I've been in. I spent the night in 36 of them, I believe. 37, I think. And when I was younger, I used to say, California people are so much nicer, friendlier, Connecticut people suck, blah, blah, blah. But what I realized is, what's really true is, in California, it's easier to make a quick friend, but that friend will pick your freaking pocket. Not sure if you can trust that friend, so to speak. Connecticut, maybe it's takes a little more suave to get to know somebody and make a new friend, a little more maybe. I'll tell you something, once you got a friend in Connecticut, you got a friend for life that you can trust. Bank on that. Connecticut people are great. And I've met so many of them since I started my movement last November. We're coming up on the year anniversary of that, Thanksgiving night, when I started the Connecticut MAGA Republicans movement. We found Selena early on, me and John Anderson, we found Selena early on. And we're going to just get bigger and better. And we're going to help win elections next fall. We wanted to help win elections this local elections that are coming up. We'll talk more about those as we go forward. But I'm going to end this for now. I'll come back. I think I'll come back afterward. But I got to do navigating to these place to place. I need the GPS to get to these exact locations. I do know Connecticut very well. I haven't memorized every address. I don't think anybody can do that. Maybe the idiot savant from Rain Man could do that. I couldn't do that. But I do know all the neighborhoods. I know right where I'm going in Plainville. I'm just not sure exactly where that exact house is. So I'm going to end this now. We're going to look that up and get back to work. And I'll pop on later. I'm going to do these live. This isn't live. This is recorded. But we're going to ultimately do these live, I think. When I was a kid, on cable, when we first got cable TV as a teenager, there was this really old, freaked out looking dude with white hair and a beard, big bushy white hair and a beard, and he was on this one of the kind of side cable channels that people didn't watch that much, but I forgot what it was. Maybe it was I forgot what it's called, the EW channel or something, ETN. I don't even know if it was it maybe he was a religious guy, I don't know. He's an old guy with a beard, and he would talk on that. He would be live on that cable channel. They used to say it was 24/7. It seemed like it was 24/7. The guy must have slept sometimes, but he was on there all the time, like all the time. That's what I don't want to be quite that exaggerated, but I want to be on a lot to start to really get the picture home and do big long shows, like almost like Joe Rogan. Eventually we'll have callers and guests and things, but like I said, I got to get the technology going for all that. But we'll walk you all through that. We'll do all that live too. No, why not, right? So, and right now I have a manager for my campaign that I really truly like, but I can't get her to return my phone calls. But I think I know why. She probably her wisdom or whatever, but I'm trying to make sure I have my my campaign manager down pat here for the 1st district, and also there's a team I want to build, and I want it to come from the grassroots. But I need some people that have some experience in politics. I've not been into the game like this. I ran for, of course, Ben Proto for chair. That gave me some experience, so I do understand it. And I've been involved in a couple of campaigns in the past, but very, very little. If you ask me how, that's one of the things these established political people like to ask me, even the people that like me. Well, what kind of experience do you have? Look, maybe we need people right now. The people that have experience have put us in a pretty precarious position, especially here in Connecticut. I think we need people without experience to come in with a little, maybe, know-how. I don't think Donald Trump had any quote-unquote political, unquote, experience when he got involved in 2015. I feel like I have a lot of the tools that Donald Trump has, except no money. No money. So I am going to need some important people to come forward and help me with the financial end of this, so we can really create. It doesn't need a lot of money. We don't need to outspend our opponents at all. What we do need, and I'm very efficient about spending. I know there's ways to do things cheaply and get through to people. Social media is a big thing. So, and I'm not sure how much my own money I can put into this. I'm not rich. I don't have a lot, but I'm willing to put in, honestly, any dime that other than my nest, what I need to live on. I'm even getting someone to help take over my company a little bit, so I can really dedicate myself to this full time. So if you're somebody that, one of the things that I hear, I just don't have the time, fine. It's really important that you make the time. If you have kids, again, if you're a father or a mother, you have the time, or if you have grandchildren, you're retired and you have time, get involved. And the main thing is go to your RTCs and numbers. Get your friends involved with you. All right, well, I got to shut this thing off because I'm having fun, but hey, get out of my lane, dude. Jesus. There's a lot of wax on the road. I'm going to have to shut this thing off now and get to work. But I will be talking to you guys soon. God bless everybody. God bless Connecticut, man. Let's save, again, MAGA. Let's make America great again. Let's make Connecticut great again. Macaw. MCGA. Macaw. Americanism, baby. That's what MAGA is. Take care, everybody.